favors the Cowboys. But here is the context. The Cowboys are playing a road game on 5 days rest against a Niners team that has 7 days rest. The Cowboys also have to travel twice. Both of them are on the road. The Niners are staying home. Teams with that profile playing in those circumstances, as you see, are 9-24. I turn immediately to the players on my set.
Yeah.
How do you describe the advantage that the 49ers go into this game with based upon those conditions?
Well, based on data, the advantage is the San Francisco 49ers are a better football team than the Cowboys. That's
our analytics disagree.
Generally helpful.
Our analytics think that the Cowboys are a better team.
I've had a tumultuous relationship with them.
I understand.
So long. Okay? And we all know that. Hey, Himbo, I love you. Himbo is my guy. Stats matter. Okay. But let's get back to the question at hand. It obviously when you have the lack of rest, number one, right? San Francisco now is in a position where they were able to get usually in football, let me take people. You got a couple days where your body got to literally regenerate. It's almost like a video game, right? So after you play a game, the next day you try to go, well, what we used to do, you go in, you get a little light jog, you get a little light workout, you get treatment, and you kind of get your week going early. Now, I know a lot of people talk about it. It's a distinct advantage, G. Like, it's not something that you just shake a stick at and be like, hey, we had 5 days, y'all had 7 days, not a big deal. 2, preparation.
That's the one.
Like, preparation. The San Francisco 49ers staff, which is phenomenal, by the way. Lord have mercy, Kyle Shanahan can call football.
Great.
You get a chance to kind of go reevaluate what you did against Seattle with a little bit more time to kind of fix your issues in that game and then move on to the opponent. Now, they've had scouts getting ready for the Cowboys or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the last, when you see this thing lining up. But the other part is this, G, and I got to make my Cowboy fans mad. How you play gets you to the position you are. And the way they ended up with seeding, the mishaps during the season, that's what has you in this position. So, unfair or not, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
I just want to say one thing regarding this game that I know is going to make a lot of people mad. Brock Purdy has become one of the great stories in the National Football League, and no one is enjoying it more than I have. But these are the teams he has beaten. The Buccaneers, defense, awful. Seahawks, twice. Commanders, Raiders, Cardinals. Those teams were a combined 14 games under 500, and 3 of them have a defense ranked 25th or worst in the league. The Cowboys, if their defense plays, will be by far the toughest test that Brock Purdy has seen so far.
You're not wrong about that, but he has the distinct advantage of having DeMeco Ryans organize that defense on the other side and Kyle Shanahan help him with the offense in the extra day. I think the physical thing matters in most games, and it matters in this game, that extra rest, but I think the planning matters. I think the 49ers, they had started on game planning for the Cowboys, talking to their players about the Cowboys immediately after that Seahawks game. They had already started scheming stuff up, and you're going to give Kyle Shanahan extra days?
I think Neek nailed it. This game really comes down to the 49ers defense and the Cowboy offense, because if Brock Purdy can play a run-pass option, they're going to be hard to beat. But if the ball's in his hands and he has to go against that pass rush, Dallas could win this game handily.
Yeah, coaching matters in the playoffs. I think they're absolutely positioned well to be the better prepared team. The point about the regeneration of the body, right? That day for San Francisco was Sunday.
Yes.
For the Cowboys, it's today. And
Yeah.
that, I mean, and they got to play. That's a tough go for the Cowboys.
I'll say this back to Mike T. I have never seen a San Francisco 49ers offense get one-dimensional. So don't bet on that.
Loaded.
Players beat the San Francisco 49ers. It ain't your scheme.
It's also going to be Kyle Shanahan against Dan Quinn, so there's a million things there. We do have to get to the one piece of bad news for the Cowboys, obviously, the kicker, Brett Maher, who had a terrific season, missing 4 extra points. I want you to see Peyton and Eli's reaction while this was happening.
Go in the end zone. Oh, my God.
Got to be kidding me.
I've never seen anything like it.
Why are we kicking it? Why are we kicking it?
In their first 2 drives, Dak did not look comfortable. They also had several drops, and then the rest of the game happened. Dak Prescott was sensational last night, completing 83% of his passes the rest of the way and accounting for all 5 of Dallas's touchdowns on the night. So let's be fair here, folks. As the Cowboys have gone through a down month, we have talked a lot about Dak Prescott, his struggles, and we've not shied away from it. The same intensity should be brought to the conversation today. Marcus, how about the performance of Dak last night?
It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal, and I've been saying for a month, G, this is going to be about Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott. Like, we could talk about defense and we can get to other players, but those two guys in sync, they've shown that they can play elite offense in this league. And last night, what you saw was Dak being very confident in what he was doing. His operation was better. You didn't see a bunch of hitching like we've seen the past few weeks with him throwing interceptions. But more importantly, when you look at the play calling, it was in rhythm. The one thing I wanted to see coming out of halftime with the Cowboys was Kellen Moore going to stay aggressive. And for initially out of halftime, I thought they were going to go conservative, preserve the game route. And then, you know what? Somebody said, man, forget it. We've lost games like this, and we should have watched what just happened with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Chargers, and they put their foot back on the gas. 5 touchdowns for a quarterback, that'll win you mostly any game that you play in, no matter who you're playing against. Now, the opposition will get stiffer.
Yeah, he threw 4 of them and ran for another. Nick, you have tape on what we saw from Dak.
Oh, he was surgical from beginning to end. He was cerebral, processing everything, rolled the footage. He did against every type of defense. They tried to blitz him, and it's like he knew what was coming. He no huddled for most of the game. Watch how he stares down this blitz and makes an immediate, quick decision. Oh, you're going to blitz from depth? Not enough time. Give me that first down. We moving on. They tried to get him against some zone. This is, I think, his 1st and 20. They got a deep cover, too. Everyone's just playing the sticks. You can play the sticks all you want. There's no defense for a perfect throw. Watch where he puts this throw. He protects his receiver and throws to get a first down. Right there is nothing you can do with that. That man was surgical and cerebral throughout the entire game. Watch this motion across in man coverage. You think that that's going to be the answer? No. I know we're in man coverage. I'm going to drop this dot right on his face. Can't do nothing about that. Bang! No defense. This is the best offensive performance that we've seen in the playoffs this year. It's one of the best that we've seen in a long time, and we need to give him as much love as you said.
Yeah.
The way that y'all been hating on this man,
Yeah, see,
I demand. What?
I haven't been hating on him. No, I said the first words out of my mouth were we should bring the same energy today
Keep
that
saying
we brought for
Keep
the last
saying
night. Nice. Graziano, what?
There is no question Dak Prescott can play like this. We've seen him play like this year.
I was just making sure.
The questions we get on this show involve words like trust.
Don't blame
Do
the
you
questions.
do you trust the Cowboys to be able to get? Here's the problem, right? He was lousy last week. We have seen them deliver high
We talking
level.
about last week. We talking about this week. This week he was cerebral,
like they played last
surgical.
night. If they play like they played last night, they can beat anyone in the league, including the 49ers this week,
yeah, now we
including any of
talking.
those big AFC teams. The only issue is we haven't seen them sustain it week to week. So let's do it. Let's see if they can do it week to week. If they can, we're going to be talking about it for the next month.
Greedy, it's really simple. Their A game, they are the best team in football, period, end of story. I've said it since August. They are complementary football at its finest. When Dak Prescott plays that way, they have a tremendous pass rush. Guys, they only blitzed 6 times last night and still got pressure almost a third of the time. That's remarkable. And how about Mike McCarthy? We've killed him on the show, myself included. 2 penalties, 0 turnovers. That's great coaching. And, oh, by the way, they had to reshuffle their offensive line, including putting a rookie at left tackle, and they didn't miss a beat.
You know, the funny thing, we walked in this morning, and the first question I said to Graziano is, and so how about McCarthy? Is his job safe? And Dan said, well, they're not going to fire him this week.
They're not.
So
I'm 100% confident.
What do we say about Mike McCarthy on this morning? Again, same energy. Everything goes at his feet
The same
when they
thing
lose.
I said last week. Why the hell were we even talking about this man's job? Like, I get it, and I understand it's Jerry. The elephant in the room is Jerry, and everybody expects him to be irrational because of where he is right now and trying to win a Super Bowl. Brother, look at him. Look at the big fella.
Yeah.
First of all, they talked about this week of how practice was super focused. The first
Judge it, Dan.
I see you. Come on, Mike, you got to get a little loose in the
He got the face down, though. He got the face down.
Dangling. But nah, man, but seriously. This man has won, like I said, 24 games in the past 2 years, right?
Like
the job of the coach is to give your team an opportunity to get in the tournament. He's done that twice. Now he's 1-1 in the playoffs, right? So when you look at the trajectory and where you were trying to get to, Mike McCarthy has answered the bell. Now, Mike McCarthy obviously should have been criticized for the number of penalties. We're going to always point to the head coach. The play clock. We alluded to that last year. All of that's fair, all right? But if you told me coming into the season, or when a coach was hired, hey man, he gonna give you 2 back-to-back 12-win seasons. All other candidates, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
You would kick all other candidates out the building and say, we'll be in the playoffs, we'll have a shot to win games. So I thought it was unfair to even have that question going right now. But ultimately, when you look at this game and the way these guys play, it's a reflection of him. And I reminded everybody, he didn't have his starting quarterback for 5 games this year.
Yeah, and they went 4-1.
Yeah. So
And look, and when he did have the starting quarterback threw too many interceptions. This is the issue. When Dak Prescott is not throwing interceptions, they are a great football, not a good football team,
almost
a
all the
great
time.
football.
Dak
Yeah,
Prescott's
but not
an interception. Well,
but
let's
not
talk
this
about
year.
last night. I don't want to talk about.
didn't throw any
Washington,
interceptions
and
last
He was
night.
incredible.
He was
in the
incredible.
no huddle. He was manipulating that defense. He didn't even need to get in the huddle. Maybe